And we're ready.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of Hamilton City Council, May 11th, 2022, a little after 6 o'clock. And I do hear my voice coming from a box over there.
He's got it.
Okay. We're here at City Council Chambers at 345 High Street here in Hamilton. We have one public hearing this evening. It involves our Rumpke contract. Let's do a roll call, please.
Moeller.
Present.
Pullman. Present. Fear via Zoom.
Present.
Vaughn.
Present.
Ryan.
Here.
Nab.
Present.
Lauer.
Present.
Okay. It may be a formality only, but motion to approve and recognize Councilmember Fear, who's appearing by Zoom.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. I did an R to your name somehow. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. I'll never call you that again. Okay. First off, an offering of prayer by Vice Mayor Michael Ryan, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you are able.
Lord, let us live each day in the most loving ways, the God-conscious way. Let us serve all who are in need, regardless of race, color, or creed. Lord, continue to guide our city, our council, management teams with the decisions we make that will better our city. Continue to protect our police officers and firefighters and keep them out of harm's way. And this week, I find it fitting that it's National Police Week. And I hope that we continue to pray for our police, pray for their protection, pray for their families, to continue to respect them, to continue to honor them, and to continue to remember those officers who have died serving our communities and our cities. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor Ryan. We have special presentations. Looks like we have 3 of them. The first one is a fun one, and it's an educational one, and that is a seatbelt contest recognition. So I'm going to ask all the seatbelt award winners, contest winners who are here, to come on up here with their parents and any of their special family friends. I'd like to be joined out here by Vice Mayor Ryan. Anybody else who also appeared at the event? Everybody else there from council at the seatbelt event? Okay. All righty. And the sponsors as well. Deanne, that means you. Anybody here from ThyssenKrupp Bilstein? Okay. All right. There's more than just this. I see Danny Crank over there. Danny Crank's got to come up here. And I've never seen him not want to be near a microphone. You want to come on up here? I mean, come on, man. And now it's all the family who's here right now. There's nobody out there who's family. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're very welcome, Mr. Crank. This is a opportunity to recognize some young people who did a great job in a seatbelt contest. It's been going on for years, and it's 3rd grade. Is that correct? I'm going to let Police Officer Christy Collins kind of set the table for all this. We're going to recognize these young people who educated all of us. Christy?
Thank you, Mayor. So in March, I go around to all of the schools, private and public, and I talk to approximately 800 3rd graders on the importance of wearing a seatbelt. And then the 3rd graders are encouraged to do a poster, and you see the posters, the winners up here. So they do a poster with a seatbelt slogan on there. And I pick, out of 800 3rd graders, I pick 13 winners. And you're looking at 4 or 3 of them here today, but there were 4 grand prize winners overall out of 800 kids. So congratulations. And then out of the winners, they win a pizza party sponsored by First Financial Bank. Deanna is from First Financial Bank, so we thank First Financial. And then we also thank ThyssenKrupp Bilstein for their sponsorship. They buy little seatbelt safety books for all the 3rd graders as well. And then I also pick a special winner, and Maddie was the winner this year, where we take the slogan, and this is something I started 4 years ago, and we put her slogan on a lanyard. So her slogan goes on a lanyard, a keychain, and we pass them out in the community. So her message, her safety message gets out to the community, which is great. So congratulations, guys.
Now would be a good time to hear from Police Chief Buchheit about the program.
Thank you, Mayor. So Christy did a great job of obviously congratulating our winners and thanking our sponsors. The only thing she didn't touch on is the person who makes this program very special for our community, and that's Christy herself. So not just this program, but so many others that she does on behalf of the police department out in the community. She does an amazing job. Has been doing this for 10 years. Just can't say enough about what she means to us and everybody in the community. She does a great job. So I'd like to give her a round of applause.
And First Financial Bank's help sponsor. We want to thank you for that. It means a lot. ThyssenKrupp Bilstein also sponsored. So they recognize, they get the messages that you all are giving. Now, can you stop that, or is it a continuous roll?
Oh, no, I can control it.
All right, stop one. Stop on that one. Is that all right? Whose is that? Whose is that one? Is that one of yours up there? Is that yours? Okay. Now, what's your name?
Kaylin.
Okay. Kaylin? That's the one where the truck is coming up out of the paper, is that right? Is that? Oh, that is so cool. That's 3D. Always wear your seatbelt. The light is where cars know when to go. The stop sign. Wait for your turn to continue circulating. So you gave us all a great message. What school do you go to?
Fairwood.
Fairwood Elementary School here in Hamilton. That is great. You got a proud mom. She is smiling real big right now behind you. You want to say something about your daughter?
Yes.
You're proud of her, I bet, aren't you? Yeah. All right, and we're all proud of you. Okay. Next. All right. Whose is that? Maddie, you're the grand champion of champions, I guess. Is that correct? I'm going to let you read your own, okay? What's it say?
Be smart, seatbelts go across your heart.
Okay. That is a great message and a really great logo and motto for us to follow. And I'm sure you're very happy that you're the grand champion and your mom is so proud of you. I always got to let moms talk, you know?
Oh, I'm proud of her.
Okay. All righty. And that slogan's going to be around that. It's already there? Oh, my God, it's incredible. Man, you're famous. All right. Whose is that one? All righty. I'm going to let you read your own. Is that okay? And keep the mic away from your grandfather, okay? You want to read your own? You want to hold on to that?
Use your voice, make the right choice.
What's it say at the bottom?
Encourage your friends to buckle up.
That's great.
Yeah, just very proud of her, and thanks to Officer Collins and everybody that helped put this on.
Hand it back to one more. We'll see what James wants.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. She does a great job. She's a little artist, and we appreciate everything she does. And I know I went over to grandparents the other day, and they had up across by her name a future artist. So we're pretty proud of her for that. So, and we have to leave early because she's got a dance thing this weekend that we got to go to rehearsal for. So thanks for having us here.
Totally get that. Okay. Is that all of them? Do we have any more? Okay. Whose is that? Is that anybody who's up here? The one person's not here, is that correct? Okay. And what school does she go to, the one from up there? Do you remember?
Fairwood also.
Okay, I forgot. Is that Fairwood? Forgot to ask what school you go to.
Linden.
Linden. And what school do you go to?
Ridgeway.
All righty. So, Vice Mayor Ryan, we'll let you wrap this whole thing up because you were there. I was there just for a little bit, but you were there. Tell us about it.
Well, the pizza was great. That's one of the best parts there. You guys, the students did a fantastic job. Every year, I've been honored to go to this event. It just gets better year after year. The kids love it. It's well attended, and you guys did a fantastic job, Mom and Dad. You guys should be so proud. And congratulations again. And to Officer Christy Collins and Chief, thank you so much for reaching out to do this program. It's very important. It's great for the community. It's great for the kids. And thank you again for all your hard work with this. And guys, congratulations again. So proud.
This is a traditional event. You're part of history for having such great seatbelt posters and slogans. And if I get to mention Officer Bob, I couldn't do that. So Officer Bob is the guy behind all this. I think I was your age when I think I first met Officer Bob. That was a few years ago. But how about a round of applause again for these youngsters who educated us. Thank you again. Thank you, First Financial Bank and ThyssenKrupp Bilstein. All righty. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Hey, see you, Danny. See you, Danny. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
I will. I'll deliver it to her.
Are you here for, who's here for American Public Works Week? Oh, I didn't even see you up there, Jim. Jeez, okay. I don't.
Hey, excuse me, let me let you get by. Okay.
My badge. There you go. That's a good idea.
Oh, I didn't know they brought them.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand.
Before
Man,
sir.
you're the man.
Well, first of all, Mayor, thank you. City Council, thank you. Citizens, thank you for this short time tonight. We're going to try to keep this real brief. Next week is our national celebration of American Public Work Week. And so basically what we want to talk about real quickly is APWA, which we're a part of, which is a national association, is proud to announce the theme of Ready and Resilient for the 2022 National Public Works Week poster, which you see right there. This is framed and will be housed at the city garage. Within every public works professional lies a superhero, which is dramatically represented in this year's poster. Public works professionals are ready and resilient ready to serve the communities and resilient as ever in their ability to pick themselves up off the ground after encountering challenges. The Ready and Resilient theme highlights the ability of these professionals to perform regular public work duties and be ready at a moment's notice to react as first responders during natural disasters and overcome trials seen in the field. We were out there today on Ray Avenue putting in valves in this weather. First really hot day of the year, actually yesterday was, but today was the first day that we had so much extensive work, and the guys were pushing it really hard, and some of them were kind of experiencing a little bit of heat exhaustion, but that's part of the acclimation process. Public Works superheroes help keep communities strong by providing infrastructure of services in transportation, water, wastewater, stormwater management, public buildings and spaces, parks and grounds, emergency management and first response, solid waste, and right-of-way management. They are what make our communities a great place to live, work, and play. So thank you all for entertaining us, allowing us to entertain you tonight, actually, and for the recognition. I have one last thing, Mayor, and that's a quick presentation by Mr. Dan Arthur.
Sure. I'll be brief as well. Thank you very much. Very happy to be out here talking about this. We are at the ready to kick off our annual fundraiser where we try to fill a truck on a food drive for the city. All the donations go to Serve City. They did it in 2019, and we were really successful, and then COVID hit. So we didn't do it in 2020. We tried to kick it off a little bit last year, but we're ready to hammer it this year. So we have a promotional video that we worked with TV Hamilton to put together. We have a bunch of participants that are here that helped out with that. Really appreciate that. But TV Hamilton came through and put together an awesome promotional video. We just want your help getting the word out there to really fill these trucks. In 2019, we raised like 2.7 tons of food and essentials, and we're able to donate those. Last year, we got a little over 2,000. It was like 2,200 pounds, so over 1 ton last year. And this year, I think we're going to be resilient, and we're going to beat what we had in 2019. We'll go. I think we can get 3 tons at least, and set a new record in that. So, would you please throw the video up?
Of course. If you did help fill this
this truck with food for our National Public Works Week.
We will be collecting non-perishable food items for donation to Serve City.
Our goal? Fill the largest dump truck in our fleet.
With your help, we can fill the stomachs and the spirits of the Hamiltonians who need it the most.
We are taking donations at several locations.
Look for our truck at Eastside Kroger on Monday and Tuesday, May 16th and 17th.
And at the Westside Kroger, Wednesday and Thursday, May 18th and 19th. Students are encouraged to donate at Hamilton City Schools, Baden High School, and our area Catholic schools as well.
You can also donate throughout the week at City Hall and at the City Garage on South Erie Boulevard.
And a special thank you to Meyer for their generous donation of $800 in gift cards to get us started off right.
So come and join us in celebrating Public Works Week and help pave the way to reduce hunger in our city.
So Kimberly Preston worked really hard and we're able to get in like 13 schools this year. We're in more schools than we had been in the past. We got a huge generous donation from Meyer that's going to really set things off in the right direction. We have Ben's here at the city building and down at our facility, so any help to get the word out there would be greatly appreciated. We're going to be resilient and do bigger this year. Yes, sir. Any questions?
No questions, but I got a proclamation to give both of you guys for the special week coming up. Come on over here if you would.
Sure.
And again, thanks for doing the food drive, and what's given stays local because it goes to Serve City. Is that correct?
Sir, sure does. Absolutely. And we have the barrels in the city building right now, so if you brought canned goods tonight, just go ahead and put them in there.
They're in the schools as well. We hit a little early, try to get a little bit more.
And they're in the schools, right?
We're on it.
All right, man. Set a record. Also, the mayor proclamation. Whereas the mayor, city council, and city administration in the city of Hamilton, Ohio are honored to give recognition the week of May 15th, 2022 in support of National Public Works Week. And whereas the public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, and specifically to the public health, the high quality of life, and the well-being of the people of Hamilton, Ohio. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals. They are engineers, managers, project employees, and customer service professionals from Hamilton local government who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our city's transportation infrastructure, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of Hamilton to gain knowledge about public works services and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in Hamilton. And whereas the American Public Works Association has celebrated the annual National Public Works Week since 1960, the year 2022 marks the 62nd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association. Therefore, I, Pat Muller, Mayor of the City of Hamilton, Ohio, and Hamilton City Council members hereby designate the week of May 15th, 2022 as National Public Works Week in the City of Hamilton, Ohio. We urge all Hamiltonians to join with representatives of American Public Works Association and Hamilton administration to pay tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our health, safety, and quality of life in Hamilton. Thank you, Hamilton Public Works. Some of myself as mayor, acknowledged by all members of council, and maybe the most symbolic way to recognize our public servants, our public works folks who maybe we all take for granted because they're out there every day, probably every hour of the day, helping us, would be to donate to this this food program. So I've got a round of applause for our public works folks. All right. Next is the engineering projects update by Rich Engel. Rich Engel.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens of Hamilton. Well, at least I'm not following the Lego group this week, but it was nice to see the seat belts. Again, that's always a good presentation to see and recognize what our students are doing. So before I start on the train depot relocation update, I just want to inform you that the construction of the phase 2 of the Beltline is continuing, and yes, we are putting in the appropriate guardrails in the appropriate places. The project wasn't complete at the last meeting, so that additional work has been completed since then. So again, as I mentioned last time, we had discovered poor soil conditions underneath the multi-story building, the first foundations they were working on. And with the help of the geotechnical firm, they were able to provide additional low-strength mortar cement to provide stabilization and to provide the proper support when they actually start building the foundations themselves. And as they moved, that was completed in the last 2 weeks, and as they've moved into the other building, the single-story building, they have discovered and found that the soils are better and that they don't have to use that same low-strength mortar to support the foundations. Also, within the last 2 weeks, we discovered, and CSX informed us, that there was asbestos in both historic buildings. We are coordinating that removal with CSX. We've had some communication, both telephone calls and also emails with CSX to determine how that's going to be resolved. The summary of costs that I will present in a minute has that information in there. It is likely that we're going to proceed on our own because I believe the cost will probably be lower, but we are investigating that at the moment. I'm trying to get a copy of the report from CSX to identify exactly where they are. We've just had conversations with some of CSX personnel that we've met on site that have said asbestos here in this wall, asbestos there on that piece of the floor. So I'd rather get something more definite before we start proceeding on our own. Also, the CSX bill of sale that we mentioned last week, that has not been executed yet. We are waiting until we get this asbestos issue resolved before we finalize that. And then as a result, since the bill of sale is not complete, we've not been able to have any contractors on site. CSX will not allow anyone to enter the buildings to perform any work until the bill of sale is executed and CSX approves it as well. So the bracing of the doors and windows have not started yet, and that will be scheduled soon. These items have remained the same since the last meeting, so I'm not going to go over those. I'm going to focus on the new items that I've added at the end of the list. So item 25 is the asbestos remediation. CSX provided a cost of $50,000 for that, so that's what's in there as a tentative estimate at the moment, and when we get any updated costs, we will change that as necessary. Also, since the last meeting, I was able to obtain estimates to perform the, remember the foundation is going to have concrete up to a certain point, and then the contractor that's working on the foundations will provide cement masonry unit block from the top of the foundation up to the underside of the brick of the building, and then we'll have brick fascia, a single layer of brick put on the outside of that. And so this brick facing on the exposed foundation wall is to do that work on both buildings, estimated at $42,000. And then item 28 and 29 are both tuck pointing of the two buildings. One estimate for the multi-story building is $145,000, and the other estimate for the single-story building is $200,000. And lastly, in talking with Kuhn Restoration, they believe there'll probably be some brick rebuilding and brick replacement after the relocation, and that's estimate of $75,000. So at the moment, the total, if all of these items are completed, and as we've discussed before, we're going to prioritize them to stay within the $2 million budget. But apparently, at this point, we're at nearly $2.5 million if all of these items are performed.
Any questions for Rich? Rich,
Any questions on what I've presented so far?
Mr. Mayor.
Please.
So, Rich, the items that have a zero by them, are those just a cost that the city is assuming? We're not including that in the budget? Or are they figures that we don't have yet?
Those are
So
no-cost
utilities-
items.
Pardon, I'm
Some
sorry.
of the items are CSX work performed, and some of the items will be performed by city staff and personnel.
Okay, and does that not figure into the overall budget?
Well, it's a $0 amount, so no, it does not.
Okay, okay.
We just wanted to these were the items that originally was identified by Wolf House Movers of items that needed to be accomplished before the buildings were relocated. So we wanted to identify them and identify any costs associated with them.
Okay. And then, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, ask your question. I've got an update on Wolf House Movers as well.
Okay, go ahead. I'd like to.
Well, since the last meeting, Wolf House Movers came here to the site. Actually, they delivered some of their steel beams that they're going to be using for the lift and relocation. So if you want to see the size of the beams, they're over on the Pyramid Hill site that's being constructed for the foundations. And I also talked to them about what items were needed to be moved or temporarily moved, like light poles and power poles and billboards that needed to be out of their way so that they can move. They continue to believe it'll be a relatively easy move for them. They'll simply come up MLK and then cross over and enter into the site, the new site from the south, and go up through that.
Wow. So the asbestos, we had originally said no, the city will not assume that because that would be something. Then the decision was made that we will assume it. Is that what you just said?
We have not made the final decision on that yet, but with our experience so far with CSX, I'm not sure that $50,000 is a reasonable amount of money to spend on the remediation. And so that's why I'm trying to get the actual report from CSX so we know exactly what needs to be remediated, what we can then ask for a quote from some of our local vendors that do that.
And do we know how the timeline is on that now? I mean, obviously we're getting close. We're, what, 3 weeks away from the end of May when we were supposed to have it moved. Does that tie it up? I don't know much about asbestos remediation, but I've seen the buildings when they're totally covered. Is this going to be days, weeks, months? What happens with that?
I'm not totally familiar with asbestos remediation, but I don't, based on the information I've heard verbally so far, there's minor amounts of asbestos in the building, so it should be fairly easy and relatively quick to remediate. And as part of the email that we got from CSX, they did offer time extensions based on who did what.
Right, I believe that was 10 days.
10 days if 10 days if the city did it, and 30 days if CSX did it.
Okay.
But in conversations with the city manager, we believe that once we get started on the actual relocation, I would find it hard to believe that CSX would come in and start demolition if we're actually moving buildings.
Okay. And I guess, you know, my concern with this is that we continue to spend money beyond what's been approved. The deadline's approaching, and we assume they're going to be okay with our delays and what's going to happen. So I will just say publicly that that concerns me greatly, that we continue to spend money and we still don't have assurances on a few things here that are important. They're critical right now.
We are still trying to have a conversation with CSX about extending the deadline beyond May 31 or June 10 or June 30th, whichever is appropriate at the moment, whatever's on the table at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Rich, if we have questions about the estimates and some ideas about even cost cutting of sorts, we're welcome to contact you and ask questions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And obviously I would suggest copying everyone that's been involved so far so that everyone is getting the same information.
Right. Councilmember Pullman?
Rich,
I want to clarify, just maybe I'm confused on this too, but I understand the brick rebuild and the brick facing at the foundation walls. The tuck point, I thought the tuck pointing was kind of ended doing that bottom. And can you explain the tuck pointing?
The tuck point would be for the entire building.
Okay.
And the brick facing is only for that 3-foot section that's going to get removed when they lift the building off the foundation.
So does the tuck pointing is basically, you're saying you're going to go over, they go over all the bricks on it, is what you're saying?
The entire building, yes.
What's the reasoning behind that? Is that something we want done, or is that something that has to be done after it moves?
I would have to ask a professional to look at that and make sure what needs to be done. I think that's just an estimate that was asked for during the preliminary conversation about the relocation, what needed to make the buildings complete.
Okay, because I mean, right there, that's $345,000 on tuck point, and if we don't need to do that right away, that can be, I mean, I agree with doing the roof. I think you have to have that on there to preserve it, but the tuck pointing was, to me, was just cosmetic from what I understand tuck pointing is. And,
it could be, yeah.
Okay, it's more of a cosmetic feature and that we really don't need to do at this point in time, and that way that puts us down, taking the windows off, taking the tuck pointing off, it takes us under the $2 million. And we just also kind of a question still, CSX have they totally ruled out that they're going to pay for the asbestos removal, or we're just going to go ahead and get a price on it? I was kind of confused when you said dealing with CSX at the $50,000. You feel that's high or low?
I believe it's probably high.
Okay, that's what I want to clarify.
Yes.
So, but they're saying they have not said that they're going to do this for us, or
they have made the offer. We have not made a decision on whether we're going to allow them to do that or to do it ourselves.
They made the offer, but we have to pay them.
Correct.
Oh, okay. That's okay. When you say they made the offer, I was thinking
they made the offer to do it,
but they're going to
on our behalf for $50,000 that we would pay them to do so.
No, I think that's where council was confused on there. So, I kind of thought in the letter that we were reading that CSX made the offer to take care of it for us, so without a cost. So
they did not.
Okay. I clarified. Thanks. Okay.
Other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, Rich, I have a couple questions. Number 17, the storage cost per month, that's not a zero or a number, it's empty. Are we still not going to be storing anything? Is that why it's left that way?
Well, depending on the, let me look at number 17 to know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Actually, it's 15, 16, and 17.
Okay,
they have totals. Number 17 doesn't have anything, a zero or yellow or blue, so
that is correct, and this is additional cost beyond the 90 days from relocation to setting on the foundation. And so we believed in talking with both the foundation contractor, Lithgow Restoration, and Wolf House Movers, that we would be able to accomplish the move and not have to pay the additional extra costs for this number 17 storage cost for buildings per month. And in fact, as we delay getting any of this work done now, that's giving the foundation contractor more time to complete their work, and we may not even be facing the number 16, relocate buildings and store buildings.
Okay, and then when we talk about how council is going to have to prioritize things because it's over $2 million, the way I look at it, the only thing that we're really going to be prioritizing are the tasks 18 and beyond, because everything else is already going to be done to make the move. Is that right? Or am I wording this crazy? I guess what I'd like to do is how it just seems to me like, with the exception of parking lot, everything on there needs to be done. So how can you help council identify what isn't going to be a priority to keep us in that $2 million?
I would suggest that, for instance, window replacement in both buildings, again, that's an item that I have not been able to pursue further yet to identify cost-saving measures there. However, it really depends on what the final use of the buildings are going to be, so that we can identify exactly which of these items need to be done. And if you find a tenant that's willing to take on some of those costs, obviously that would not be a cost for the city to bear either. I mean, there's obviously a lot of unknowns that everyone is struggling with, and we're trying to provide the best information we can. And from our perspective, the primary purpose of the $2 million was to get the buildings moved off of CSX property onto city property and then protect it as best we can. So I would say that that's our effort in identifying the priorities.
Okay.
Rich,
Is there...
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
You sure?
I just don't want us as council members at the 11th hour to have to come up and start prioritizing. I wish that there could be a way that now you could start saying, these are absolute musts that you have to do. This is your column that, is cosmetic or would be nice, but these are the items I'd like to have identified. These are the items you absolutely have to have done when you get the building moved over there. Because we have no idea how long it'll be before a developer, and I don't want to be approving any more money that we don't even know for sure what's going to go on in there. So for this to hinge on a prospective developer telling us what else we're going to do to improve the building, that could be months or years away for that. So I wish that somebody could identify, these are the things that absolutely have to be done. And then whatever color you give that, the other colors were going to be our priorities, what we prioritize. And we as a council need to start thinking long and hard about that.
We can provide that.
Thank you.
Rich, if I add up the tuck point figure, which Councilmember Pullman did, that's $345,000. The windows are $275,000. I believe at the very last council meeting, you may have thought that was kind of a high figure, or it wasn't a locked-in figure. If I had that $275,000 plus $345,000, that's $620,000. Now you got to have some windows. I get that. I know that. But those are variables to a degree, or maybe we just don't choose to do the tuck point at this point in time.
Correct.
Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay.
Plus, there's also a $62,800 savings we could have for not storing that, so that brings it almost $700,000, which now we're under our $2 million.
That's just what Rich, I think
we have to use some creative math.
I think that's what we have to keep doing, is look at it that way. What we need to do, what would be nice if we had the money or the donations to do.
We can provide that.
And I do believe so. We talked, I think I texted you that somebody wants to do a video inside there for fundraising purposes.
Yes, have you got dates and times yet?
I have got his email address. I'm going to give his email address to you if that's okay.
That's fine.
I don't need to be.
I'd be glad to take that on.
But they do want they're a historic group and they want to do a video of the inside there.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor,
please.
So, I have a lot of messages about ample time of the day that they're going to move it. I keep telling everybody, I'll let you know as soon as I can, because there's a couple organizations that a lot of people want to take pictures, and there's also Rail Fan Magazine that actually I think nationally would come out and do something. They think that's, believe it or not, there's a lot of people watch trains. So I think Rail Fan's interested in it too, from what I'm understanding. So I told everybody we'll have plenty of notice on there, and probably some good photo points that we can do, safe photo points. Is that correct?
Yes.
You think we'll be all right?
Yeah, we'll work with whoever we need to work with on setting up those locations that they can safely video from. It was suggested by, might have been the CSX representative I've been working with, to put somebody on the top of this building to, or the top of the garage maybe, to watch them coming up MLK, coming north on MLK. So yes, we would be happy to do that. It'll be obviously a spectacular video event, media event for a lot of people.
It'll be like a parade. There's going to be a lot of people standing out there, so, okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, just
Please.
one last question. So, in this case, what is the scenario that we would not have to store the depot?
The foundations are scheduled to be complete and ready for putting the buildings over top of them by mid-June. So we're already mid-May, that's 30 days away. They can put the buildings over top of the foundation, but continue to keep them raised up in place. And that's part of Wolf House Movers' contract, is that we had them provide 60 days of the building setting over top of the foundations without lowering them on top of the foundation and letting the brick and block layers bring the block up to the bottom of the building. So we are likely to have that savings in the overall cost as we continue moving forward with all these other activities that need to be done first.
And CSX is good with mid-June at this point for the move?
Well, they have offered June 10th as one date and June 30th as the other date, so I would say that that's probably fairly close.
When do we think we will know that? I mean, if they stick with June 10, then we would have to store it somewhere.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it could be done by then. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, we just need to get the buildings over top of the foundations, and the foundation concrete has to cure for 30 days, and that's why they can just simply put the buildings over top of the foundations and not lower them yet, and not put the additional weight on the foundation.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions or from council or any comments else that you want to make, Mr. Engel?
No, thanks. I'm done for the night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, that takes care of our special presentations. We now go to audience of citizens. Individuals wishing to make comments regarding items may speak during this part of the agenda or may reserve the right to speak specifically when the item is up for a vote on the council floor. All individuals who intend to address City Council are required to sign in the book. I've got multiple signatures in the book. Each speaker is allowed up to 5 minutes. We've got like several folks to talk about the Baden situation. So we're going to take the Baden last and go with some of the other ones. Jim Loneman, you want to come on up here? Give us your name and your address. And before you talk, I'm going to talk, if that's okay.
Jim Loneman, 135 Samuel Hill Drive, Hamilton, 45.
Good. Okay. I know you've been asking about the railroad tracks on East Avenue. And Jim Williams, our Public Works Director, professional, says that there's going to be a crew coming out, they believe on May the 15th, that they're going to address that by June the 15th. So we got to take a look at it, address it. Thanks for bringing that issue up. And thank you, Jim Williams.
Thank you.
Number two, you spoke with Jacob Stone at our customer service earlier in the week. And you talked about or asked about such things as street signs, traffic on Sunday, London Road, London Road, and generally about traffic. And I know Jacob Stone gave you an answer regarding our upgraded traffic system, which we are putting into play, phase by phase, step by step. So some of the items that you have on your mind, I'm sure that some of them have already been answered. So I've answered some of them. What other issues do you have?
Well, I got one thing. First of all, let's see, but let's see. I'm going to Barney's Bar, pay pool there, Barney's Bar, and I was sitting there, they're playing pool again, and they have people parking in parts where it says no parking here from here to the corner, They're parking out part, many times. And I told you I was supposed to park out. Well, all right,
Well, we hope that everybody does follow the no parking areas because it's important for line of
The
sight.
police ain't doing nothing. The police ain't doing nothing though.
Well, let's just say you've raised an issue of awareness, but we all need to be aware and follow the no parking signs. Make sure that we're in front of them when we should be or behind them when we should be.
Mm-hmm.
And let hopefully people will do that because accidents do occur when you have no line of sight and a car comes up on you too quick.
Right.
So thanks for bringing that up.
I'm saying what they should do is the police should put like warning tickets on their car.
Well,
If it happens again, then ticket them.
well, I know there's enforcement and it's got to be serious because otherwise people keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Okay?
I'm saying, but would you just give them warning first and after that?
Well,
That'd be a good way, wouldn't it?
maybe not. What's your next issue? What's your next issue?
Okay, well, okay. See, come here. See. Oh yeah, I was traveling on by Kroger's up here, on Erie Avenue. There's only two cars that coming from Erie Avenue, and two cars go by, and it's a big thing for cars to go. And I talked to Rich about this, and he said that there's supposed to some main accidents like that happen like that, and mess up the street time like time of year.
Whenever you bring up an issue about traffic, Rich is writing that down, and he is looking into it, and I'm sure he has that on his list.
I know, I talked to him earlier about it.
Good.
Okay. That's about it. I'm
Great.
safe for tonight.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, have a good night now. Thank you.
You too. Dan Hancock?
My name's Dan Hancock. I live at 67 Herman Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio. Tonight at 4:30 to almost 20 till, it took me almost 10 minutes to go from the freshman high school up to Cleveland Avenue because of traffic, car back to back. And then when I got up to where I could see the other way, there was just as much traffic coming from Eaton Avenue there. We need a traffic light there at Cleveland Avenue because you're going to put another subdivision in there with 39 more houses and saying 2 more cars per house there on average because most people have 2 cars. So you're talking about 70 more cars going through there just for that, not counting the other traffic and that from Spooky Nook and everything else. So it's going to get even worse through there. And so we need to get a traffic light there at Cleveland Avenue. Because like I said, it took me like 8 minutes. It's going to be even more once you get that other subdivision in there. And so.
No, Rich, wasn't there a traffic study done on that recently, I believe, for a planning issue?
Yes, sir, there was.
Okay, so maybe that needs to be looked at, maybe add a few more details to it, to the formula or whatever, but there was a traffic study done.
And I mean, this is a Wednesday night. Just think we're going on a Friday night, it's going to be even worse than that.
Well, it's definitely worth looking into. Sometimes you got to change the formula a little bit to add some more details, and that sounds like another detail is the development going on.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up to us. I'm sure.
Mr. Mayor, there is an inordinate amount of construction work taking place on North Washington near the intersection of Leo and Hermé right now. So Dan, that is part of the problem, is the construction that's taking place in the laying of new sewer lines, the laying of new curbs and things like that. It's taking up time and space, so that's adding a little bit to the problem that you mentioned back to Eaton Road and back up towards the intersection of Cleveland and Washington. I happen to live in that area, so I suffer the same consequences that you do. Thank you.
Okay, we've got one more issue that doesn't involve Baden, and that's Christina Lada Landfill. He's still here. There's. Good evening.
Good evening, all. My name is Christina Lada Landefeld. I live at 318 Ross Avenue, and I'm here tonight just to inform council about an event that happened last week. Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation had a statewide launch of an initiative called Lifeside Ohio, and they chose Hamilton as their launch site. they were looking at the greater Cincinnati area and they chose Hamilton because the prevention efforts we do here are so vast. I do want to draw attention to the fact that in 2022 over 2021, we've seen an enormous amount of increase in suicides. It's happening here, but it's also happening as a trend across our nation. Locally, we've actually had one loss of a student life in the Ross School District just in the last month. So suicide prevention is very important to the work that we do. LifeSite Ohio pulls together three very important stakeholders. They are law enforcement, first responders, veterans, and the firearms community. And the reason that those three groups are so important is because firearms, or suicides by firearms, are almost half the amount of suicides in that means. First responders and veterans have a very good relationship with firearms, and they're also at highest risk. So this initiative brings together those three very important communities to say that we're united for life to prevent suicides. So I wanted to share the information with council tonight and just share it around and say thank you so much for the support. And I wanted to just say that congratulations to Hamilton for being the place that was chosen for that statewide launch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for making us aware of the initiative.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll give that to us after the meeting or the appropriate time. Sure. Thank you. Okay, in order of those who signed the book, Don Kaufman. I mispronounced your name, I apologize.
Yeah, no, you're okay.
Oh, no, come up to the podium and correct me. Give me your address. Give us your address if you would, please. Okay, your name and address, please.
Don Kaufman, 587 Westers Drive. And I was actually kind of hoping to address some of the Baden board members tonight. I don't know if anybody's here on that or not, to kind of get an idea of where we stood. Some of our concerns we had addressed the last meeting or the first meeting, the road, what their intentions were, and I'd hope to communicate with them on that. Our concerns are still the same. My concerns are, I can't speak for everybody, I can speak for mine, that our roads are too narrow for the Jordan to put a gate in there, put access on that. I've got concerns about the privacy fence that they've got drawn up as it is. They did a survey recently and found out that their property line is much closer to ours than we had originally thought. I mean, it's literally right up to our backyard, halfway up our yard where the training camp's gonna be, or the training field. The privacy fence as drawn is coming around Westridge, goes up half the side of our property and stops there, leaving an opening in behind. The way they've got it drawn, my understanding is it's going to be a retaining wall and a privacy fence about 11 feet when you add them together. We'll come at the side of our property line, that's fine because that's where the training field's going to be, but then it stops there at the corner, so that leaves our back exposed. I think they mentioned a 6-foot chain link fence or something. Well, all that's going to do is they're redirecting foot traffic through our yard. You're going to have people coming, going through that, or they're walking the dogs, just walking, climbing the fence, whatever, because they're basically rerouting them from the parking lot that's going to be in place. So my concern is that access through our property, privacy, of course, and I've still got the concern on the roads. We communicated with them. We gave them Brian Pendergast. We gave him a list of our contacts, all of our contacts. He had asked for them. We mailed that to him so we could stay in communication. We've not heard from him since. Actually, we didn't even know this meeting was happening, but one of the neighbors looked it up and found out about it. So that's our big concern. That's my big concern is communication. And we had talked about some of our concerns last time. We don't know what's being addressed. I see some counters out there like they're doing a traffic survey on the corner of New London, but nobody's communicating anything with us. So I've still got those concerns. We've got people with young children and children with disabilities on the street. So emergency vehicle access is very important. I mean, our Westridge itself is very thin. Thanks to the council, we got it paved or remilled for the first time in 30 years. So that was a great accomplishment there, and thank you for that. But in doing so, it also narrowed the road. We lost road in doing that. So now I think it's around 17 feet. I think most of them are around 20 feet, 20 to 24 feet. I'm not sure the specifics on that. So anyway, I'm looking at that. I'm worried about the traffic, the rerouting of the traffic through our street, our neighborhood, parking on the street, and footpath traffic through our property, and privacy. So those are still my concerns, and it'd just be nice if somebody would communicate that with us, or at least with me from Baden, so we know where they stand and what their intentions are. Okay.
I do know that the Planning Commission, Jordan Lane was discussed quite a bit. I think Westridge was discussed quite a bit.
Okay.
How to handle those streets when there's no game that particular night, and that those were discussed, and I hope the communication continues. I do know there was listening going on during that Planning Commission hearing. I mean, I know the Baden folks heard you, and I think they responded. There probably needs to be still communication and still more response, but I know those issues were addressed, and I think they were seriously listened to, and I think I heard quite a bit about Jordan that particular afternoon, evening.
Okay. Is there any kind of an update that where they stand? Do you know, or can they speak for that? Or because that's kind of where we're at. We can sit up and keep saying the same thing over and over, but if we don't know what they're doing, we can't. I don't think anybody's really trying to dispute it. I think we're trying to find common ground. I
did contact Baden directly.
Yeah. Well. Okay. More than just a list of contacts, I guess we have to. Yeah. Okay. I know you can't answer for them. I understand.
If I were you.
Mr. Mayor.
Please.
I believe our planning director.
Oh, great.
Presentation on it during the caucus. I don't know if you want me to do it.
Can we bring that up right now on this app? Okay. All right. We're all going to learn. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. All right, Mr. Kaufman, we're going to have Liz Hayden from the Planning Department give us updates.
Okay.
That apparently were based upon the testimony and what came from the podium at the Planning Commission. So, I'm going to have Liz speak right now, if that's okay.
I yield my time to,
Okay. Yes. You yield the podium, please, to Liz Hayden. And thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Hi, good evening. My name is Liz Hayden. I'm the planning director for the city of Hamilton, and we do have a few updates and just a general overall short presentation on this project in general to bring city council members that weren't at the planning commission hearing, and then also the citizens to make you aware of the overall proposal, but a few conversations have happened since the meeting. So Baden High School came to Planning Commission and now coming to City Council to propose to rezone their property, business plan development, and as part of that came with an overall kind of comprehensive vision plan for their site that included the main things that were included were expanded parking and then a stadium. This is an aerial of the proposed stadium. This isn't their whole site, but this is their 3D rendering. You can see the buildings on the right of the screen are the primary buildings that are on New London Road. And so the stadium is proposed behind their buildings. And then they have a practice field to the north, and then parking to the south, and then also expanded parking that's not shown very well on this to the north as well, but I have a close-up in a couple slides. So generally speaking, just to give an overview of the project, they are proposing activities at the stadium and practice field 7 days a week, Monday through Thursday until 9:30 p.m., Friday and Saturday up to 10:30 p.m., and then on Sundays latest 6 p.m. The stadium is proposed to set back 143 feet from the southern property line and 55 feet west from the west property line. And the practice field setbacks are 10 feet to the south and 30 feet to the west property line. And you see the black is the 6-foot privacy fence proposed. And you see the purple number 4 is the landscape buffer. For now, Baden is proposing that they will be the only ones using the site, but they would like to reserve the right to let others use the site as the stadium as well. So here is the main update. After the meeting, city staff met with Baden on site and discussed the issues surrounding Jordan Lane and also the parking lot configuration, because if you see, you see the red lines, they're proposing an access road onto Jordan Lane in this proposal that went to Planning Commission, and then also a parking lot that surrounds a house that would remain there. Since that meeting, they have agreed to not move forward with either of those parts of the proposal. And also, so they are no longer proposing access onto Jordan Lane. And they're also going to reconfigure the parking lot. I think the goal is to incorporate that other property, but I'm not sure where that stands, but they will not be doing that parking lot configuration. So those have been changed. And furthermore, they need to do a traffic impact study. So that is what you're seeing out there. And they will be doing that prior to final plan approval. And so what that means, that's all kind of Planning Commission jargon. But there's a process that's going forward right now that is a preliminary plan that is subject to change. They actually need to go through this entire process again with a final plan that has more detail. And neighbors will get letters again and be invited to meetings, and there will be an update. So there's a lot more public input coming through this process as they fine tune this. My understanding was that they just wanted to understand, if they can conceptually do these before spending a great deal of resources, taking next steps. So we don't really know the timeline of when they would come back, but neighbors would be noticed, and invited to more public hearings. So I think that's probably why you haven't heard from them, is because this is a very long-term project that they're probably, not thinking about making sure that they get back to you right before this meeting, because there's so many more steps in the process. That would be my guess. I haven't talked to them, but that's my thought there. Additional information that is relevant, we want to make sure City Council's aware of, is they included sound and light testing projections in their application that met zoning ordinance regulations. And there was a lot of community input at Planning Commission about this. It was a very long meeting, and residents were very engaged, and Baden supporters were very engaged. I will say it was one of the most respectful meetings I've been a part of, so I was very appreciative of all the citizens who are involved. And supporters came and discussed the reasoning for the project, and a main thing that kept getting brought up is that they have teenagers that are leaving Baden every day for practice and getting in each other's cars and driving long distances, and it's just a safety hazard. They want to bring everyone back on campus. The Jordan Lane conversation was brought up many times, and again, that design has changed since the meeting. The city is in agreement that that the traffic study should be focused on overall a holistic view on access onto New London Road, excuse me. So, and then the other part that's not been brought up so far is that there was discussion on the impact on the neighbors to the south of the property, who right now have a large wooded lot behind their house, and this is a major change for them. And they expressed a lot of concern about the change that was going to happen behind their property, and that it was going to go from wooded fields to a big stadium. So there was a lot of communication about that, and there was discussion back and forth about how close it would be, but that was the gist of the conversation. And again, just reiterating, this is a process that will be seen through over the next month or so. Council will need to make a vote on the preliminary plan, but then there will be another round of review with a final plan that will go through a similar process. So any questions?
Any questions from council at this point in time?
Liz, in difference to the visitors with us tonight, the board from Baden, if you put timelines to everything, as best you understand this, is this a 5-year project, a 10-year project. Has Baden indicated they'd like this completed by 2030? Have they given any timelines that these nice folks would be able to say, we've got time to have interaction, we've got time for communication, we've got time, as you shared, to reconfigure, not have a parking lot, not have this gentleman say, it appears that they're going to have a walkway and things like that that they might not have. Any timelines at all?
I certainly can ask for a better timeline for before the next meeting, but my gut is saying that there really isn't a firm timeline. They need to be touching base with us within a year, or to at least request a extension of the plan. So I have a feeling that we'll be in conversation with them over the next year. My thought is that from conversations about the need for the project, they'd like to move on to move as soon as they can, but I don't know how, I have no concept of how feasible that is or what as fast as possible is.
Have they given you, based on what we saw on the plan tonight, did they say this is a $10 million, a $15 million, or a $5 million investment?
We didn't ask that as part of the planning process, but there might be other people that know that answer to that. Yeah.
Timeline, and then I'll call it cost of finished product of what may have been, and it's certainly being altered now as you've shared. But I think as this gentleman said, line of communication is very, very important.
Absolutely. And I do want to note that, and Tom, can you maybe fact check me on this, but I do believe there was conversation about better making sure that there is a full barrier so people aren't parking anywhere on Jordan Lane and coming into so have a full fencing, correct?
Sure. Actually, I can weigh in on a couple of issues. I didn't know if I had theme music too, like Rich did last week. But, couple of things. I know they want to move ahead with the parking as soon as possible, the expansion, and as Liz pointed out, that property, that last property that was a holdout, they had indicated that they had reached terms of a purchase of that. The second thing is, I think the project cost is about $7.5 million, is my understanding, is where this stands. And I think that both Brian and Etta Reed with Bear Becker, what they wanted to do is just make sure that this was a feasible project so they could start moving ahead with fundraising. I know they've got a couple of pretty large commitments already. They've got some big asks out there. And I think that what they want to do, and we're actually going through this with some of the projects we're involved with as well, is they have to know that this is possible because they need to go out and ask the community for fundraising. And they say, this is a definite, we can do this. But I think that it's probably a 3 to 5 year project if I had to guess.
Thanks, Tom.
A couple of questions, if I could, on what's on the agenda tonight involving the rezoning and I guess the preliminary plan. What's the timeline on those two items? It's on the caucus agenda tonight. What happens next?
It comes back for a first reading at the next meeting, which I believe is May 25th, and that is the public hearing date. So there's another public hearing that people can sign up and have their voice be heard. And then the following meeting would be the second reading and a vote. And Daniel, what's the date of the first June meeting? Is it the 11th?
It might be the 11th of June. I can confirm the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't have my phone up here, so I can't. But
I'll come back to you.
So that is the timeline on this. You mentioned Jordan Lane. So Jordan Lane is now not going to be used.
That's my understanding, right, Rich?
Okay, all right.
June 8th.
June 8th. Thanks.
Any other questions for Liz at this point in time before I go back to those who signed the book for the Baden issue? Any questions? Thank you. Okay, now, and thank you for putting that presentation, for getting that before us, before the rest of the speakers, because that might have answered some questions. I got Vic Weisbrod.
I'm good.
Okay.
Excuse me. I have a question on that real quick, and then
Time is up.
This being kind of a unique situation, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. Okay, thanks. But I bet you got to come to the podium first, though. Okay.
I'll pull it up.
30 seconds. She had nice pictures. Don Kaufman, 587 Westridge.
Which one?
It's past, this is one of the big, thick, that one there. This is what I want to point out. We're the ones that are just above the number 1. That's our property, this black line coming down. Well, right here, yeah. That line, the black line going down, that's the side of our yard. And that going back is the back of our yard. And that's going to be wide open. And that's the footpath I was referring to coming off the circle at the top there, Westridge Drive, that's a cul-de-sac. The foot traffic is going to be directed because this wall goes clear out and it stops right there. And that was my concern as far as the privacy and the fencing goes on our side.
So you're 587
Westridge.
And I drove that after the planning commission meeting. I really haven't driven Westridge much in my entire life.
Yeah.
But you're 587 then.
Yeah, last one there, yeah.
All right.
So,
Mr. Mayor.
but that's what I wanted to point out.
Councilmember Nab?
Sir, what's the depth of your lot? Just to give me perspective on that, how many feet? From the street back to your property?
That black line, we are 2 lots, we're double lot. So if you take the center of the cul-de-sac, 220 feet down.
Thank you.
They're each 110 feet across, and then our lot going back is 473 feet.
Gotcha.
But the woods are right there, so it would only be so far then to go to the woods. That'd be your, because outside of that, we just got some hickory bushes and a few trees back there. And I think when they came out and surveyed it, that line that's going down now is actually going to cut some of the tree line. It's because we don't have an easement, we're a shared property line out there. At least that's what they were telling me, the surveyors. So we'll lose some on that. I just want to point out, give you a visual on that, I guess. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Roger Allen? Roger Allen wish to speak? Okay. About Anthony Baker?
She answered all my questions, sir.
Okay, great. Palio Heimer? Mr. Heimer?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm speaking on behalf of my wife, Debbie Heimer, and myself. We live at 940 Columbia Road. And a couple of years ago, we had an incident with some of the students on senior day, and we got involved with the principal and the business manager. It's been 4 or 5 years ago. And we asked them at that time, was there any future plans to do anything back in that area? Because one of the biology classes or botany classes had built a path back through there, and there's always a lot of kids back there at the edge of the property. And they said, absolutely not, we're not going to build anything. We don't have any future plans at all. Well, and then this comes up, we were apprised of this just a few weeks ago, and we were dumbfounded. And so if you could bring the one picture up for me.
Mr.
Yeah, the green.
Will do that.
Yeah, the green one with the feet, the previous one.
This one?
We live at 940 Columbia Road. Our neighbors to the east, the Reeves family. The center of that field goes right down through our property line. When the Furman Center was built, the bulldozers worked all summer long. It was constant. It was nerve-wracking. They took all the dirt from the Furman Center, put it directly behind our house, brought us out several hundred feet. Well, using the planning commission, the lady that was here for Baden giving all the numbers, using their numbers, they said that from the existing ridge, they would now be coming back another 157 feet towards our property. We built a beautiful little cabin back here. All we see is woods, it's tranquil, and that's why everybody lives in that neighborhood. And if this goes through, all you're going to see is the destruction and decimation and our property values plummeting. This neighborhood's going to go to hell. I understand that the school wants to expand, but in the expansion of this school, with just a field, you're bordered on the east by the golf course, you're bordered on the west by your lack of ability to buy any more property. You got to come back my way.
Well, you're going to beat your head against my wall. But in the meantime, I'm going to be looking at using their numbers, a 42-foot retaining wall. Now, that's a big project. A 42-foot retaining wall I'm going to look at from my living room. I don't want it. My wife doesn't want it. Nobody in the neighborhood wants it. So I just want to give you a little something to think about and we haven't been contacted by Baden at all. Nobody's asked us anything, but this thing's going to be sitting right in my living room. When they build this, they're not going to haul any dirt in. They're going to drop the existing field, using their numbers, 10 feet. So they're going to drop the ridge that's up here now 10 feet down, push all that dirt our direction, and then that's going to put it right about my living room level. There goes the privacy to my pool, privacy to my living room, my back deck, my whole house. And I'll have kids standing up there looking. Well, I have kids back here now. It's on their property, but I hear them every night. But we've got no privacy now from the last move they made. They stand up on the ridge and look right down my living room. And they're going to bring it another 157 feet closer. I'm not happy about it. My wife's not happy about it. None of the neighbors are. And at the Planning Commission, we didn't feel, everybody came up here and voiced their opinions, and every one of them was negative. And we felt like nobody really gave a damn about what we felt. I've been there for 22 years. My wife's been in the neighborhood for 30. And we've got neighbors there that have been there longer. Doc Weaver, he's been there for a long time. And we're just all sick about it. I understand the school wants a nice field, but once they build that field, they can't build any more classrooms. And from what they said last week, they got 400 more students coming in. Where are they going to put them? So the way we feel, they need to find a bigger piece of property to build a new school on where they can expand as they need to. But that's just our personal opinion. Well, I've took my time. And I appreciate you listening, and I hope you just take some of that as food for thought. We personally don't have anything against the school. I think Baden's a wonderful facility. They put out some good kids. But we have to live here. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Oberhorn.
Let's get something quick, Dave.
Sure. Come on up and give us your name and your address. And
Ken Obercorn. I live at 598 West Ridge Drive, and their practice field is literally going to be in my backyard. What I want to add is, I know we talked about the parking on Jordan. I like that. That's great, or the access. The big thing I want to add is, I know how Hamilton High School, when they have a game, their overflows into all the businesses for parking. I don't know if Baden's going to be that big, but as we said, the streets up there are too small. Jordan is less than 20 feet. As we said, West Ridge is only 17.4 feet now since they repaved. An actual street size for an ambulance is 20. If you want to park a car on the side, it's 28. Did a little research. But my concern is that people are going to start parking on them side streets, especially if they don't extend that privacy fence down the backside there. They're going to try to sit in the cul-de-sac, go through the yard, jump the fence. Those are my concerns. You start putting cars on there, we can't get an ambulance through there. So I have a special needs son. If I can't get an ambulance back here and I need it, there's bigger trouble than what's going on here. So those are just some of that's the big concern I want to go. I don't think we're going to be able to stop this, who knows, but that's one of my major concerns is the streets. But I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate it.
well, thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Lauer.
Mr. Overcorn. I'm right here.
Sorry.
I hope that they have satisfied the needs for your son and stuff. I know that was a big point for them when I was doing some of my stuff, asking questions. I don't know about your other question as far as parking and stuff, but I would like to ask Brian Prendergast and talk to him, but I hope that they continue to talk with you and work with the situation of the streets with your son and stuff, because that is a priority for myself. It's huge, so.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dan Acton?
Dan Acton, 410 Columbia Road. I echo Al's comments about the Planning Commission last time. I think it was respectful. I've been to a number of hearings where it's been a little more contentious than that. You know, the people were pretty well dug in one way or the other, but wanted some answers. And but leaving that meeting, I think all of us that came to speak were more than dissatisfied that we basically had just wasted our time. The comments, and I've been involved in a lot of developments. I've been involved in a number of planning commission type boards in the past. I've never had one where we were told basically, where a development was given the go-ahead to advance, where it was basically just said by that body that I'm sure they'll do the right thing. So, you know, just don't worry about it. They'll do the right, I'm sure they'll work with you and do the right thing. I have never in my life gotten one of those projects. I've always gotten benchmarks that these things shall be met, they will be met. You need to meet with the community and answer their questions and go from there. That's what we're asking of you guys. That's what we're asking the school. I love Baden. I mean, they have been a tremendous asset to our community. I know a number of graduates from the school, but you know, they've got to be able to come to the table as the principal promised and answer those questions before we start seeing bulldozers over it. I don't think it's unreasonable. In fact, I think it's mandatory that they meet with us and try and answer some of those questions. It is astonishing to have that, just to be told, well, I'm sure they'll do the right thing. I brought up the sound and the necessary noise that literally a ball stadium will generate, and was basically told, well, you know, hey, I'm sure they can adjust that after they get it installed. That was comments from the dais. They are not going to spend $250,000 on a sound system and then find out that it's disturbing the neighbors too greatly and then just put it on eBay and go get something else. I mean, we need to be realistic about this project. And I think from their standpoint, from their fiduciary responsibility to their donors, they would try and get it right the first time. I have been before this council a number of times. I've been before the administration, several of you on council I've copied. I've met with the public safety director, the police chief. Sound in our neighborhood is unbelievable from the establishments that are out there already, the entertainment establishments. It is unbelievable and have been scoffed at by city officials before until they've actually visited the property, where establishments half-mile away on the nights that they can have music, which is 7 nights a week, much like the stadium, where they can actually sing along with the music in my driveway. Mr. Mayor, you know exactly where.
I respond to you too.
Yes.
I haven't started talking yet.
I mean, you've been to my home, and I appreciate that.
Okay,
but
I'll respond.
We're not getting. This just seems like another cog in that wheel to disturb the neighborhood. And all I'm asking for, I understand the Heimers plight. The other folks that are here, I've met with them last time around. Al and Debbie have a lovely home, and their concerns should be met. I would not want a 4.5-story retaining wall as my view. I mean, that's unfair to them. If they're going to do something like that, there should be some greenery that's required through there, both from above and below, something to buffer that. The one thing I did not see in the plan, either tonight or previously, was any plan to have any kind of shared use of the parking areas over at Potter. if they would make an agreement for the Friday and Saturday night games and utilize that existing parking lot that's owned by the city, they could, that site plan could be drastically changed, which would also alleviate some of the current concerns, the Heimers and some of the other folks that have invested a lot of money to live in that wonderful neighborhood. So, you know, I don't understand why that's been done. We were all told, and I appreciate the principal. The first time I spoke with him was the night of the planning commission. I called the school just to leave a message. He answered his cell phone. It was forwarded to his cell phone, and was a very good conversation with him. But we just want that follow-up and partnership with the city to try and work those details out before they go too far. So with that, you know, I appreciate your willingness to listen to us tonight. Hopefully they can be taken to heart, and so will the school administration and their donors.
But Dan, I was going to say, you know, thanks for bringing up issues. You and I have worked on projects in the past. We have current projects in the future. But I do believe the system works. I was at that planning commission meeting when Jordan Lane came up. It came up quite a bit. And what have I seen tonight and heard tonight? A response. Mm-hmm. I think it's been a positive response to what was brought to everybody's attention about the width of Jordan Lane, the ability of vehicles to really traverse on Jordan Lane. And I think you heard what happened as a result of those comments. So I do believe people listened at the planning commission meeting when this was brought up. I think people are going to continue to listen. One thing about our success in our city is the fact that we have reacted, we've adjusted, we've been creative. The idea about parking at the golf course, interesting, could happen. So let the system continue to work its way, and I think it's going to be okay. I mean, I really do think everything's going to be okay. Perfect? Nah, probably won't be perfect, but I think it's going to be okay. Now, I don't hear that loud music that you hear. I mean, I don't. Maybe it must be my hearing. I have heard a few times, but I haven't heard that much. But you know, but we'll continue to hear. I'll come down to your house and see if I can hear things next time that summer concerts start. But Dan, things are progressing as a result of people listening, and I thank you for
and this Liz's presentation on behalf of Baden and the city was most welcome. But right. I think part of the frustration is they had that information as a stakeholder being the city, but the neighbors did not have that information. We're all kind of caught by surprise from that. Yes, it's a wonderful development and a positive sign that the administration is listening, but it would have been nice for us to have known that in an email or an informal meeting at some restaurant to have worked that out and go from there.
Let the system work, and I believe everything's going to be okay.
And as Mr. Mayor, one other thing, in Brookwood, the crypto mining operation with the noise complaints over there.
That whole thing is not in front of us right now.
I understand that, but as a comparison, the sound panels were installed over there, and it made a wonderful difference over there. And that's a suggestion that I would like to see this city perhaps advance with the administration on that. So with that, thank you.
Let the system work, and let us all listen to each other. Andrew, thank you, Dan. Andrew Wallace.
My concerns were addressed with the presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you. From my checklist here, that takes care of everybody who signed up to speak at Audience of Citizens. So, all right, that takes care of Audience of Citizens, and I know with all of us, we all listened, and the process will continue on multiple.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Pullman.
Can I make a comment?
If it's a relevant comment, yeah.
It is. First of all, well, yeah, from the guy that rarely smiles. I'm just kidding.
I did say that once.
You did say that, didn't you? And the reason why I'm smiling a lot right now, because I've got Austin back here making signs at me, and we have a lot of fun. I lived in the neighborhood, just to let everybody know, I lived in that neighborhood for 30 years on the corner of Jordan and West Ridge. I think the system, I think what you're going to find is, you're going to find out that I'm not going to be able to vote. I want to tell everybody that not because of you guys, it's because I have a family member on the fundraising committee, so I think it's best for me to step out. And it kills me to do that. But I really think that you're going to find out, first of all, Liz does a great job. She's going to keep you informed. I think it was nice that Brian Pendergrass did meet with you guys. And I do think that at the end, it does come here. And I think this is a very bright council. And again, I'm not going to be able to vote on it, but I think you're going to have this council up here is very fair, and I think they're going to listen to you. And if you invite them out, they'll come out too. So, I mean, they're very good people to deal with on it. So I wish you luck. I tell you to, keep going. The process does work. I think everybody will keep you informed. It's always online, so you can look at it. So you can call me and ask me of the dates. I'll be glad to answer that for you. But that's about all I can do, I guess. But I just want you to have faith in the system too. Okay? So.
Okay, that takes care of items of citizens. We're now going to go to the consent agenda. That includes all staff reports, caucus reports, and meeting minutes. We're going to go into what's called the committee of the whole. I give City Council the chance to ask questions, provide direction, and comment on the reports that appear in the caucus agenda. So that the motion's regular meeting be recessed and the committee of the whole take place.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Council Member Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Ryan. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. It's 7:34. We'll now go to the caucus agenda. And why don't you lead us in the caucus agenda, Mr. City Clerk?
Absolutely. Our first four items will be presented by Ms. Liz Hayden of the Planning Department. And actually, one of the items was already presented during audience of citizens.
Good evening again. So this is the first presentation that I have tonight is about two pieces of legislation that will be moving forward to you, but they're connected, so just doing a joint presentation on them. And the first, they're essentially tobacco retail establishment legislation, and one piece is going to be in the health, as a new chapter in the health code that the health department will be running with if it is approved. And then the second is an amendment to the zoning ordinance that would fall under the planning department, and it's related to establishing a license for tobacco retailers that the health department would do, and then regulating tobacco, nicotine, and vaping sales in the zoning ordinance. So the background is, since 2019, the legal sale age for all nicotine products in the U.S. became 21 years old, but there is no existing enforcement effort regarding underage sales. So municipalities have begun creating tobacco retail licensing programs to improve compliance efforts regarding underage sales. So the license proposal is inspections and compliance checks, fines, suspensions, and revocations of licenses for selling to underage, to people under 21, I should say. And then just to note that this is a model that's happening around the state of Ohio. There are many municipalities around the Cleveland area that have enacted what's called a tobacco retail license. But in this area, Cincinnati and Norwood have these licenses, and also Columbus is the third closest community. And our license program is very similar to what they have. So we've been working on this for a while, and it's been a cross-departmental effort from the health department, planning department, law department, and the city clerk's office. And we've also been working with Envision Partnerships, which is a wonderful Butler County organization whose mission, this fits very squarely within their mission to serve our community. The Hamilton Law Department and Frost Brown Todd have completed legal reviews. So the overview for the tobacco retail license is that all tobacco retailers, current and future, will be required to obtain a tobacco retail license from the City of Hamilton. The proposed cost is $250 annually, and the primary objective will be to ensure tobacco retailers are not selling tobacco products to people under 21. The program will aim to ensure proper training and enforcement of the restrictions on sales of tobacco products to those under the age of 21. The City of Hamilton Health Department will complete a yearly inspection of all tobacco retailers and may conduct additional inspections as needed. And I do want to note, I thought this was interesting, the City of Cincinnati is, as they do, I guess, for lack of a better term, they do underage or undercover efforts to see if their license holders are selling to people under 21, and I believe that they found in their last review that over 40% were selling to people under 21, so just showing the importance of starting to change the mindset of underage sales for tobacco retailers. If approved, the proposed license will go into effect March 1st, 2023. That gives the health department time to launch a whole new license program. So the other program is the zoning ordinance text amendments. And before I forget to say this, this would go through the regular process, and if approved, would just go into effect 30 days after the vote. So it wouldn't start March 1st in 2023. So this would add tobacco, nicotine, and vaping sales as defined use in the Hamilton zoning ordinance and regulate it as a conditional use. It's not called a tobacco retail establishment because we wanted to make sure it was defined differently, because every business that sells a tobacco product needs to get the license, but not necessarily all of them will fit under this definition. It's a more narrow definition that is the common way and legal way to legally recommended way to define tobacco and nicotine and vaping sales, which is that it devotes 20% or more of floor area or display area to the sale of tobacco products and or derives 51% or more of gross sales receipts from the sale of tobacco products. So it means that their primary activity is selling tobacco products. And then there would be conditional use or specific use in certain districts, and then it would not be permitted in other districts. It'd be conditional use in B2 community business, which is our most common business district zoning, so Main Street, Route 4, things like that. And then specific use in business plan development, which is specific use and conditional use are the same thing, they're just called different things in plan development, so same process. And the business plan development is also a common zoning for business areas. The main condition I wanted to point out to you all is that it would include not permitting future tobacco, nicotine, and vaping sales locations within 1,000 feet of a primary or secondary school, a youth center, a licensed child care facility or preschool, or other tobacco, nicotine, and vaping sales or business, and within 500 feet of a park or library. We've been working on communicating with this since this is a new program, so we sent letters out to all existing tobacco retailers that we are aware of and made them aware of this proposal. We invited them to the February 16th Ordinance Review Commission meeting and gave contact information to connect with us about upcoming ways to work with us in upcoming meetings. We presented the zoning ordinance text amendments to Planning Commission on April 7th, and so far we've heard from 4 tobacco retailers. 1 attended the Ordinance Review Commission meeting. None have expressed opposition to the proposal, although the last person I spoke to was this week, and she, definitely wasn't thrilled about having to pay another license fee, but she didn't express outward opposition. She said she'd be trying to participate and learn more through these processes. And that is the summation of my report, if anyone has any questions.
Other development. 2000 North West Washington. Or do I just zone out?
I was just going to wait till they see if they had questions about these first.
I'm sorry, don't listen to me.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn?
sorry. Just one question, Liz. So the properties that fall within that 1,000-foot area, would they be grandfathered?
Yes, this would only impact new uses. Zoning works that way, where when a new rule goes into effect, it cannot retroactively impact existing businesses.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Lauer?
Ms. Hayden, is it possible to get a copy of your fines, your suspensions, and the list of how you plan on going about fining people, suspending licenses, and
Absolutely.
taking away their license?
It should be in the proposed ordinance, which maybe was included, but definitely will be included when it comes through as a staff report. And we can send it as a separate email as well. But to outline it, to make sure that we have it we set in stone in an ordinance is important.
I would like a copy of that as
Okay.
soon as possible. As being in education, first of all, we all know that this is an issue, but there are a lot of underlying effects that the vapes and some of the items that are sold in vape shops are causing in schools, not just Hamilton, around the country. And it's putting kids out of school, and schools should not have to stop enforcing their rules. And I think it's important that this is enforced at its greatest ability. So.
Yes, and I did want to note that we, of course, have made the Hamilton City School District aware of this, and they expressed support for this.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And one more thing. Westfield Place subdivision is coming to you as a preliminary plat, which is the first step in our subdivision regulations to create a new subdivision. It's proposed it's for those that are not familiar with the site, I should say this is right next to the freshman school on Northwest Washington, and they are proposing 39 new homes here, single-family homes. And here are some examples of houses. They haven't chosen a builder, so these are conceptual, but they just wanted to give a sense of what their HOA documents are requiring as far as design and brick and stone amounts. So just, high level, they're proposing 1 and 2 story houses the 1 story will be 2,200 square feet minimum, 2 stories would be 2,600 square feet minimum. All houses would have an attached garage, 2-car garage minimum. They're following our design standards. They're following the anti-monotony standards, which basically, in layman's terms, means that all the houses can't all look exactly the same right next to each other. And then the houses are proposed as 75% brick or masonry on all sides. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Pullman.
Liz, this is the same, didn't we see before some development was trying to go in there before, but it was like really tight homes and they were all pretty much.
Yes.
That's the same area, right?
You're correct. Yes, we had a proposal that was denied from Redwood
So
Apartments.
those were like real short driveways and real tight together. These are going to have some land. How much land are their average lot size?
I have all of that here thanks to the amazing Ed Wilson. Minimum lot area is 10,000 square feet. Okay. Minimum lot width 90 feet. Front yard setback is 35 feet.
So yeah, it's much better than what it was before. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Vaughn.
Is that where they're currently leveling the area? I've seen bulldozers over there.
Yes.
Okay, so they own that property and they can go ahead and level it and do whatever. They just don't have permission to build?
That is a great question. The person who's proposing this has owned it for many years. Not a new owner. And in fact, it's Mr. Welch who has developed a lot of the area around there. Mm-hmm. And they're basically doing that at their own risk. And we made sure they communicated because it was trying to figure out, people are allowed to cut down trees on their own property, but trying to make sure that they know that that's not necessarily means that they, that they're allowed to move forward with the project, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. And then I think I read in our packet, it was 50/50 brick and siding, and now it is going to be 75% brick?
Yes, so they had said 50/50 brick and stone, and then my understanding is that their HOA documents are taking it a step further. However, I do think that because they don't have the builder yet, that there might be it's possible that it's an amendment that we'll have to, bring up when they come through with their final plan. So I'll be sure to reiterate that percentage when we get the final plan.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you. Number 4 has already been done. We have 5 and 6.
So I'll do 5 and 6. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, members of the public. Daniel Tidyman, City Clerk, part-time bartender, and I'm going to be here tonight to talk to you about liquor permits. So the Ohio Revised Code allows legislative authorities such as City Council to have the opportunity to object to new liquor permits or liquor permit transfers. So tonight we do have 1 transfer and 1 new liquor permit. For both of these permits tonight, there's been no objection from city departments, so no objections from health, fire, or building. So our recommendation within the packet is that we do not object and conclude with our recommendations. So the first one is on 1255 Central Avenue. This is a simple transfer of ownership on the same property. So it's after having a conversation with the health department, this is transfer of ownership between one brother to a different brother owning the same family business. And then on 221 South B Street, this is a new liquor permit. It's a D1 permit, which is for the sale of beer for consumption on property. And this is a new permit, meaning that if we don't object to it, they still have to go through the formal permitting process. They still have to get their licenses, their occupancy permits. So there still is a process that they have to go through. So that's a short summation of my report. Do we have any questions about these items?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
There's someone doing number 7.
Yes, that'll be Tom Vanderhorst, our Executive Director of External Services.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, members of our community. Before I speak on this topic, I also wanted to add a little bit of color to a couple of the presentations that Liz gave, in particular the tobacco retail license. When we were doing the legislation, just to give you an idea of the proliferation of those businesses in our community, we have roughly about 100 of those establishments in Hamilton already. Just to put it into perspective, Cincinnati has about 300. So when you take a look at the difference in the population, you can see we have a much denser concentration of those properties. Second thing is on the Westfield development that Liz just went over to Mr. Hancock's point. I mean, our intention is to do some sort of tax increment financing district over there for improvements on that roadway. So know that that's coming down the pike too, recognizing that there's a lot of capacity over there. The item I'm here to give the presentation about now is 2275 Pleasant Avenue. A lot of you probably know that as the Raymer Hardware Building. This council voted to buy this. It was back on February 24th, 2021 for $125,000. I think that it always been the intention that we were going to pivot to Linden Walden. I think this is an opportunity for us to put a stake in the ground over here. So the intention is to transfer this property to the core fund. The core board is planning to vote on this in the coming week to accept it. After that, there will be a grant opportunity that will be coming to council later. This is a grant that has already been budgeted in our budget. It has not yet been appropriated for this purpose, but it is in the budget. So I think you'll see some additional details with this property coming forward. We did have a property inspection on this property when we bought it back in 2021. And to be honest, we're trying to save the building. I mean, there were some issues out there with the leaky roof, the first floor, there's parts of the floor that have holes in it. So our plan is to send this to Corps, whose mission would be to do the repairs, the tuck pointing, the roof repairs, stuff like that, and try to find a long-term tenant to lease it from them. Any questions?
Any questions, council? I want to say one real quick comment. And this goes back to the tobacco and the vape. There's a substance called kratom, K-R-A-T-O-M. It's out there. It's actually banned in certain states. I was driving through Oxford and I saw a sign, you know, you've got kratom, and it was actually in a vapor and those type of stores. So it's something you may want to consider adding to the legislation.
Okay.
Some research on health department's doing some research on it right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Tom, just one question before you walk. Pat, thanks.
Please.
You mentioned 100 establishments. Those are in the city of Hamilton?
That's right. That's right. So what we did is we put a budget together based on the number of establishments that we have. So those establishments pay a $500 licensing fee from the state of Ohio in order to sell those products. And the $250 would go to enforcement, education, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, if you look at the density, I mean, we have a lot of density.
We do, and that's why I wanted to be sure, just with the sheer number, as you said, in what we know is going on in the city of Cincinnati, what we're hearing, and that many here in the city of Hamilton. But Liz, I echo going back to what Councilman Lauer asked for, and I think everyone on council is really, really interested. And I'm glad the city schools are climbing on this as well. As the mayor just said, some of the things that we know not to be good for consumption are out there and available and things. So thank you for putting all of this together for us.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, that takes care of the committee of the whole. I accept the motion. The committee of the whole be closed.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Pullman. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried at 7:55. I'll accept the motion. The director meeting be reconvened.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Okay. I think you've already heard that Caucus Agenda item number 4 needs to be pulled, and I'll accept the motion to be pulled. Item number 4 to be separate from the rest of the Caucus Agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Councilmember Nab. Is that a roll call vote or a voice vote? I forgot. I keep on forgetting.
A voice vote is fine.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. Item number 4 is pulled. So why don't you read number 4, and we'll just address that right now.
A recommendation relative to a preliminary plan development proposal request pertaining to a proposed parking expansion and a potential stadium. 1, rezoning, a request to change the zoning of the properties from R1 Single Family Residence Zoning District to BPD Business Plan Development Zoning District. And 2, plan development, a preliminary plan development to request a development on property zone BPD. The preliminary proposal is for a proposed parking expansion on properties owned by Baden High School. Etta Reed, professional engineer for Stephen T. Baden High School applicant.
Thank you. Before we go any further, I want to mention that the regular meeting reconvened at 7:55. I may not have said that. I don't recall, but be that as it may. So number 4 has been read into the record. Is there a motion that council receive that report and concur in that recommendation?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Abstain.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Abstain.
That motion is adopted 5-0 with 2 abstentions.
Thank you. And I'll set the motion that the council receive the remaining reports of the consent agenda and concur in their recommendations.
Moved.
Second. Motion made by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. We now go into the public hearing section of the agenda. Now accept the motion the regular meeting be recessed and a public hearing take place.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Pullman. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. We go into public hearing at 7:58. Please read the public hearing into the record, Mr. Tiedemann.
A public hearing regarding an amendment to a multi-year contract with Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated as set forth in emergency in ordinance number 2019-11-126.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard at this public hearing involving the contract with Rumpke? Anyone in the audience wish to be heard at this public hearing involving the contract with Rumpke? Looking at the public hearing speaking book, no one did sign the book, and no one is in the audience wishing to speak at this time. So, anyone on council wish to make a comment or make a motion at this time?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember
I
Nab.
move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Vaughn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. 7:59 is the time. I'll accept the motion to the regular meeting be reconvened.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Ryan, seconded by Councilmember Lauer. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. Now go to council actions pertaining to legislative items, and I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Pullman.
make a motion that I move that a note be made upon the minutes that each member of council was furnished a printed copy of each item of legislation prior to its being considered at this meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Vaughn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. We go to pending legislation. Agenda item number 9, second reading of an ordinance involving the classification of Assistant Economic Development Director.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Schedule A of the city's classification and compensation plan as set forth in emergency ordinance number EOR 2021-12-121, adopted December 8th, 2021, by adding the new classification of Assistant Economic Development Director, second reading.
Mayor,
Councilmember
I
Nab.
move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, second by Councilmember Vaughn. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. We go to new legislation, agenda item number 10, 2 readings of an ordinance involving supplemental appropriations.
An ordinance making supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Hamilton during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, first reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the rules be suspended and said ordinance be read a second time by its title.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. Second reading of that ordinance, please.
An ordinance making supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Hamilton during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Any discussion on this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. We go to agenda item number 11, ordinance involving the Rumpke contract.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a third amendment to the contract number 10-52, an agreement with Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated relative to a resident commercial solid waste collection and disposal, including curbside recycling and lease operation and maintenance of the municipal transfer station. First reading.
Thank you. We go to agenda item number 12, 2 readings of an emergency ordinance involving, looks like an alley.
An emergency ordinance amending a section of ordinance number EOR 2021-11-99 relative to vacating a portion of Edison Avenue Alley B located between South Erie Boulevard and South Erie Boulevard Alley. City of Hamilton applicant, first reading of 2 readings.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Pullman.
make a motion that the rules be suspended and said ordinance be read second time by its title.
Second. Motion made by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. Second reading of that emergency ordinance, please.
An emergency ordinance amending a section of ordinance number 2021-11-99 relative to vacating a portion of Edison Avenue Alley B located between South Erie Boulevard and South Erie Boulevard Alley. City of Hamilton applicant, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Pullman.
make a motion that the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Any discussion, comments, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. We go to agenda item number 13, first reading of an ordinance involving occupancy agreement with Rossville Flats.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to enter into an occupancy agreement with Rossville Flats LLC for certain real property located at 402 Main Street, Hamilton, Ohio, 45013. City of Hamilton owner, Rossville Flats LLC. Occupant, first reading.
Here we go to agenda item number 14, a resolution involving a collective bargaining agreement with the IBEW.
A resolution approving the terms and conditions of a successor collective bargaining agreement, CBA, negotiated between the City of Hamilton, Ohio, and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 648, AFL, CIO, IBEW, Local 648, and authorizing and directing the execution of said collective bargaining agreement.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Councilmember Lauer. Any discussion or questions about this resolution? Okay. Roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
We go to agenda item number 15. That's a resolution involving property located at 716 Gordon Smith Boulevard.
A resolution accepting the donation of real property located at 716 Gordon Smith Boulevard in the City of Hamilton, Ohio, and identified as parcel number P641106000026, Shelton and Sons Incorporated, donor, City of Hamilton, donee.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Pullman.
I'd like to make a motion that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Nab. Discussion or comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Abstain.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted with 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay, we go to agenda item number 16, a resolution.
A resolution approving the terms and conditions of an agreement with American Municipal Power Incorporated, AMP, to participate in the EcoSmart Choice Program.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Pullman.
make a motion that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Nab. Comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
We go to agenda item number 17. It's a resolution involving appointing a Region 14 representative involving the One Ohio Recovery Foundation.
A resolution appointing initial Region 14 representative and alternate representative to the One Ohio Recovery Foundation Incorporated Board.
Tell you what, this might be a situation where I need to probably not discuss this, but speak about this before even there is a motion. Okay, there is an opioid settlement. The Ohio has its agreement. It's called the One Ohio Memorandum. And so far with 3 distributors in this opioid settlement, the monies are $808 million for the state of Ohio. And 55% of the 808 goes to what's called a statewide foundation. 15% goes to the Ohio Attorney General. And 30% goes to local governments. And I believe we've already got ours. Our first payment might have already been received of the partial total for the local government direct distribution. So what this has to involve with, this resolution, is the 55% that goes to a statewide foundation. We are in a region called Region 14. It's made up of 7 different counties, rather diverse counties, and Butler County is part of this Region 14 with Claremont, Clinton, Greene, Madison, and Warren counties. So that's considered Region 14. What happens is, out of a total of 19 regions, they all meet in Columbus to deal with the 55% of the $808 million. And we have to appoint a Region 14 member of this group of this 7 counties to go up to Columbus to take projects to Columbus, and then this foundation makes a vote on the projects. It's brought before them from the 19 regions. And we're at the point now there have been some meetings, not just within Butler County, made up of various entities, Middletown, Fairfield, townships, but also amongst the 7 counties. And the Butler County group is a diverse group. It has within it some elected officials, some school officials, private. I think Kettering's got a representative on it. But be that as it may, we have to appoint by May 16th at least an interim foundation board member, somebody from Region 14, to go to Columbus and be part of this multi-region, 29 total person board, because I think the governor selects some people, State House represents some people, the House Representative appoints some people, but so we have to definitely do that by May the 16th. This is our last meeting before that. There has been some discussion with some names to appoint, and in the resolution that all of council has received, 2 names are listed there. They both are directors of what are called alcohol and drug abuse services organizations, and my resolution, the resolution that I think we got to go with is making this be an interim. This is not a cart before the horse, but it's kind of a unique situation. We are appointing a foundation board representative from this Region 14 to go to Columbus without having bylaws or the governance of the 7 counties. So it's kind of cart before the horse. There's been a lot of discussions on how to do the governance of Region 14. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, I believe because we're the biggest county, we have like 1/3 of the total population of the 7 counties. And I'll speed this up. We have twice as many overdose numbers, twice as many unintentional overdose deaths than any other of these other counties. So if you look at a balance, all shifts to Butler County. There are different views of this 7-county group. One is to make it all equal executive board, so each county's got 1 person making project ideas. One that I proposed is it's more based on statistics and population. But that's not what we're voting on. We're voting on having somebody sit at that chair on May 16th in Columbus, Ohio, as part of the Region 14 group. And the resolution calls it an interim appointment, and that's because I do think that we ought to have the bylaws set up before you actually come up with the final person who would be there for a year, making decisions on projects, discussing projects. And obviously, dealing with a lot of money here. And the one thing about the payments, there Our direct payments are over time, if I'm not mistaken, like a 20-year time frame. But I think the foundation board monies could be released quicker in a larger amount for projects. And there's no doubt that there are projects that could be put around Butler County, which would, I believe, address those statistics and be a reflection of the population. But the motion is actually to appoint these two people, the first person and then an alternate, to at least start the process of going to what are called foundation board statewide meetings. Make a long story short, that's what this particular resolution is. You name two people. This vote's going on all across, I believe, Butler County, or should be, as well as all across the 7 counties. So I'll answer anybody's question anybody might have about this. There have been quite a few meetings here locally, Butler County, and quite a few meetings of the Region 14 multiple counties. Any kind of questions? Answer anybody's questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Ryan. Any questions or comments about the resolution that is before you at this time? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to need a copy of that pretty quick. Thank you. Okay, now, executive session. I believe that there is a request for executive session.
There is, Mayor.
Could you please give the stated reasons for it?
For 2 reasons. To consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, or trade secrets of an applicant for economic development assistance. And secondly, to confer with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Okay. First one's going to require another motion. I'll accept the motion that the executive session is found to be necessary to protect the interest of the applicant or involves the possible investment or expenditure of public funds that are made in connection with the economic development project.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Pullman. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0 at 8:15.
Thank you. A motion then to go on executive session for those stated purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Vice Mayor Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0 at 8:15.
Okay. We're going to go to executive session, then come out of executive session just to adjourn the regular meeting. Thank you for being here. I'll probably be downstairs so we can access the phone. Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Dan.